So your house, I mean, I had been there. It was what? That was like a 2-3 bedroom place, big living room, big family room. You had the nice ass kitchen, the backyard, you had the swimming pool going in and all that kind of stuff, and you just gave that up, right?
Just gave it up.
Right. This is George. He's been a buddy of mine for, let's see, man, probably...
Over 10 years now.
You're way over 10 years now.
Yeah.
We're older than that.
I know, but 10 years is a good number.
10 years.
10 years.
It's only been 10 years.
Yes.
And he's already heard his introduction, basically, but this is a fellow who has taken me and completely pushed me to succeed in life. He's always believed in the things that I've been working on, and anytime I would personally get down, these are the kind of people you want to have in your life, because anytime I would get down, he'd be right there. I could call him up even 3 in the morning, and he would push me to continue to keep my drive up and keep me succeeding. So I want him to tell you a little bit about his story. So
Well,
this is your second location now, right?
This is my second location.
Where we're sitting right now is not together. I don't know how much you can see on the video and such, but it's not entirely together. It's still getting set up. But this is the second location he's got. Second location, 2 daughters, making it happen, living in the other location on the upper floor, right?
That is correct.
Which is technically office space, but he's living up there.
Well, I can give you a little bit of an idea. The story is, it goes back further than when I'm going to start, but I'm going to start at the point where I was working at a corporate job, making very good money.
This is not milk, by the way. Just want to throw that out. I'm not drinking random giant gallons of milk here.
So, working a great corporate job, making lots of money, but that wasn't really making me happy. And I had my first daughter at the time. I have 2 now, beautiful girls. And I noticed something. By the time I get up to go to work, my daughter was either sleeping or just waking up. By the time I would get home, she was either sleeping or just going to bed. And I was really missing out on her life. And I wasn't happy. Now, the company I work for is a well-known company, but...
Yeah, don't name drop. I try to stay away from naming specific places.
Yeah, I'm not going to name drop.
But it's a very successful, large, multi-billion-dollar corporation.
And
Right?
they-
He was doing pretty well.
Yes. And they treat their employees extremely well. And they gave me what's called FML, and not what the Urban Dictionary's definition of it.
F my life.
But it's family medical leave, which they gave me time to spend at home, get to know my daughter, and pay me for it. And during that downtime, I had a buddy, Joshua, gave me a call. It's like, hey, I'm taking over this new computer place. You got to come check it out, this and that, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Came take a look. It's like, oh, well, this is really nice. I like it. It looks great. It's like, hey, how would you like to give me a hand?
How would you like to work here for free? I think I asked him when we first started.
Not going to happen.
This was Trusted Relations Computer Clinic that I had opened up in Seymour, Connecticut.
Yeah. But I told him I'd be happy to give you a hand, but I can't really work for anything else in the technology field because I work for a technology company, and yeah, I wasn't willing to lose that at the time. So I gave him a hand, just supposed to be once or twice a week. I ended up being there every single day.
Full time from the first day you started.
So the problem is that when I came in there, Josh was already running around like a chicken with his head chopped off, doing this, doing that, that he was overworked and high-strung, I would say.
I was highly volatile. Working, 18 whatever hour days. I mean, my longest day in there was 27 hours straight. Mm-hmm. He had gone home for the night, then he had come in the next day, and I still hadn't left, and he's like, dude, go home.
Right. So eventually it did get to a point where I was just like, Josh, you need to go home, you need to sleep. Rest, come back, and go to town. Now, it went from me telling him to go home, and like I was literally chasing him out of the building with a broom saying, you go home now. And, finally he listened, but he listened too well. So he goes home.
I'm just throwing it out there. You're giving this whole backstory of our business. That's not what this is about. This is about you. in your company.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah, like the story you're telling
this
is
is
great.
a great story.
It is a great story.
All right, so I'm going to finish it quickly. So he goes home, he crashes, and I end up being there full time. So I made a decision. I had to either go back to my company and go to work at full time, or I could take a chance. And I took a chance, and I came to work on board with Trusted Relations, full time working. And it was a great company. I enjoyed working there, but then I needed more. So I started my own side of the company.
All right, well, I just want to say one piece. His life was relatively together when he started working for me. And when he was working at that other corporation, his life was relatively together. You had your house, you had your vehicles, your Mustang, the SUV, the Grand Prix, the Honda, whatever. I mean, you had your two daughters, you had the wifey.
5 vehicles, a house. My yard was about half the size of a football field, power in the middle, so I was planning on putting in a swimming pool. There was so much going on. It was the American dream, essentially.
Now, I just want to interject real quick that when I closed, when time moved on, certain things got difficult for George. And he can expand as much as he wants to on how difficult things were. But he ended up, I had to end up letting him go for financial reasons, unfortunately. But instead of going back to work for a place, as much as that would have logically made sense, he took a shot and he pursued a dream instead. Mm-hmm. Even though it would be so easy for him to have looked at his surroundings, and I'm not quite sure what you're going to share, but he could have looked at his surroundings and been severely limited by what was going on in his personal life at the time. I mean, you can get into no money, I mean, all the stuff he had going on, and he went for the dream anyway. So that is the story that I wanted to share. As much as he gets excited, he wants to tell our whole backstory. That's a story for another day.
Right. So it is a great backstory, and I'd love to tell it a different day. But essentially, I had a choice to make. I had to either go back to work for another corporate, business, or I can go for what I really want and do something. Because I started my own side of the company with Trusted Relations, and I found it to be something that I wanted to do for myself. And it was a struggle. It was a really hard decision. Now, to go back into a corporate lifestyle, it takes time, it takes energy.
It takes you away from your family.
Yes.
That was what bothered him so much.
And I decided that if I'm going to take my time and my energy to go do something, whether it's to find another big corporate job, I'm going to do something that's going to make me happy. And I decided to open up Elite IT. Now, Elite IT was something that I decided was going to be better than the best. And I came up with
But not better than mine.
Much better than his. Now, my motto is Elite IT, where elite is the standard. And it was something that I'm trying to hold true to, because there's so many people in this industry that can't do what I put my heart into doing. They may have the knowledge, but they don't have the passion. Or they may have the passion, but they don't have the marketability. Or they may have the marketability, but they don't have the knowledge. I essentially have all three, and I'm applying it to do what I can. Now, it's a much harder struggle starting from scratch, building something. I had my daughter's mother blew the motor in my Jeep, which was a nice truck. Well, I'm investing all my money into this, so I can't go out or I could, and decide to put myself into debt and finance something. But I'm not doing that. I had a blessing where a customer, just because of their interaction with me, gave me a truck. Now, it's not the prettiest truck in the world. In fact, I've even had someone be like, wow, missing a bumper.
Got a few pieces missing there, buddy.
I didn't notice. It gets me where I'm going. I gave up my house, when me and my daughter's mother split. And, she essentially moved somewhere else, and I needed to cut my overhead. So, especially with taking on the 2 locations, because I have 2 locations now, and I moved above my first location. And that cuts down my overhead, and it puts me back further than I was before I came here. But it's going to get me to where I want to be, which is much further than where I was.
Now, you sold your vehicle as well, right?
I junked my Jeep, I sold a vehicle, I sold another one, and I put together the money. I had family that certainly came in to help at a time of need with certain donations because they believed in me.
Yep.
And not
Now-
so much donations, they loaned me because I'm going to pay them back.
Yep. Now, I just want to throw out there that at this current moment, right now, you don't have a lot of money saved up, right?
No, I
You,
don't.
you don't have much of a cushion, right?
No.
But what it comes down to is that you are literally willing to pull out every single stop to make sure that you make your dream come true, right?
Absolutely.
So, your house, I mean, I had been there. It was what? That was like a 2-3 bedroom place, big living room, big family room. You had the nice ass kitchen, the backyard, you had the swimming pool going in and all that kind of stuff, and you just gave that up, right?
Just gave it up.
Right. See, it would be so easy for him to go, well, this is my standard of life, and yeah, this idea was nice and stuff, but you know what? It's going to take years to come up. It's going to all this kinds of difficult stuff. He could have so many limiting beliefs, like, well, I want my daughters to grow up here. I want me to, have this car. I want to make this income. I want. When in reality, that it was obtainable, and he is doing it. Now, he doesn't have all the money in the world right now. He would have a lot more working for another place. But he makes sacrifices because there's no limiting beliefs in his life. Not the fact that he doesn't have a lot of money, not the fact that he doesn't necessarily know all the time exactly what to do. I mean, you're a relatively young business owner. You're learning. You have your own mentors. I know you have that other fellow who's helping you out as well. But you found these people on your own.
I did.
You didn't sit there and go, I have no idea what to do. I mean, I'll never forget. I'm sorry, were you about to talk?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
So, but don't lose that thought. 'cause
I might lose it.
Don't lose it.
All right. Dory fish over here, man. It might go away.
I did have to find out what to do. And then the thing to do, if you don't know, ask. Ask somebody, anybody.
Seek, and you shall find. These people are all around you to ask for help, advice, mentorship, life coaching, whatever it is that you really need. They're there.
Family, friends, business associates. Find someone that's successful or doing what you want to do. Talk to them.
Yep.
Find out their story. Find out their connections. Find out, even if they don't have the answer for you, they may know the person who may have the answer that you seek.
Yep.
And that's what I did. I asked. I gained more knowledge. I found out what I needed to do, how to open up my own LLC, what steps to take. I looked at locations, and I have a customer.
Now, okay. Sorry about that. We just had a customer walk in, and customers come first when you're in business. So let's try to remember where we were.
Seeking people that can help you.
Right. These people are all around you. You want to make sure that you reach out to them because you already know them. The same thing with the model I was telling you about. You already know the people that are going to help elevate you to whatever greatness it is that you want. And if you don't, the people you know people who can get you there. It's like for example, if somebody really needs a car to buy or something. I mean, you can go driving around the streets looking for a car. That's one way to do it. Well, Craigslist is probably a next step, or a car dealership is another step, or you can even just ask friends of yours, hey, listen, do you know of anybody selling a car? And maybe your friend who had a car this whole time they were thinking about selling, they're not just going to come out and tell you it because they don't know that you want it. So by you going off and asking people different things, you might end up with a car for like $500. I mean, you ended up with a car for free.
I did.
So it's like you need to put yourself out there, and that's something that he did. I mean, I'm just going to say my last piece because I almost did forget it. I'll never forget that when I had to let him go, it was a very emotional, difficult decision because this is, a really good friend of mine and a best friend, actually. And I had to let him go, and he had helped me to build my business, and your heart was in it, I mean, he was very distraught. He didn't want to go back to working. He didn't know what he was going to do, and I ended up having to leave his house because I had some stuff going on that day, and after talking with him, I left, and he was upset in his room. But you know what? He didn't sit there and wallow in feeling sorry for yourself. You made decisions. You were proactive, and you went and you opened up your own business, pretty much without much help from really anybody else but yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, you reached out and got advice about things. I threw you some computer parts, but You asked me, do I have any computers that you can use to get started? Do I have any stuff for you? You made that call.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about self-sufficiency, and it would have been so easy to say, because at that time, I mean, you had enough to feed your girls for another week, right?
Yes.
I mean, you lived kind of paycheck to paycheck. I didn't have all the money in the world to pay him. You know, it was always about this dream we were going to get to down the line, which now he's completely taken over. But you could have looked at the fact that you had no money. You could have looked at the fact you got 2 girls.
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to provide for them? You know, you got the house payment. You've got, it's just you made it happen by saying, I don't care what these limits are. I'm going to get by this.
Yeah. And it's not that I don't have money now. I have money because my bills are paid. My bills are paid, which is most important. And I'm investing money that I am making into the business, advertising things that need to be done in order to make more money.
Now I got a question for you.
Yes.
You want to buy your girls nicest things in the world, right?
I do.
But as much as you want them to have the nicest things, you're not spending the money on toys and shit right now.
No.
Right?
You know, Christmas is coming up, and I am going to get them something. You know, because I do have to get them something. But I'm not going to go and spend $500-$600 because I can't.
Everybody wants to give their kids a huge Christmas, a wonderful time that they're always going to remember. But you know what I remember most about Christmas, personally? I mean, this is just me. Of course I remember getting the toys. Of course I remember sneaking downstairs and unwrapping the gifts that were under the tree and pretending that they hadn't already been unwrapped as I tried to kind of make them go back together. But what I remember is that the family. I remember going to grandma's house and baked cookies and, you know, laughter and times around the fire and the tree and how it looked and all this kinds of stuff. And if the tree wasn't there, I'll bet you I would have had good memories anyway. You know, it's like we want to spoil the kids, we want to do everything for everybody, but it's like you do have to prioritize where your money goes. Your money is going right now towards investing in yourself. Basically the number one commodity you've got in your life, which is yourself. The more you invest in yourself, the more you're going to be able to give later to your daughters and to give to your family.
College, vehicles, weddings.
I like vehicles too. Don't forget about this guy.
You know, and then, you know, future grandchildren if they ever decide to have kids. I am building for the future. A lot of people are too busy, you know, focusing on the now. I am focusing on the what is and what's going to be. So I am building for that.
Well, actually, you're focusing on you're not even focused on the future. You got an eye towards it, but you're focusing on the now, investing in the now for a better future.
Well, no.
You know?
I am focusing on the future and I'm investing in the now because I'm seeing.
Right.
Most people look. Well,
it's just you don't want to live in the future. You do it now.
No, yes.
But it's coming because of what you've done.
I'm going to be a millionaire. In fact, I'm going to be a multi-millionaire, and I know that. I don't think it. I don't kind of like go maybe if I work hard enough. I know it because I'm putting in the time. I'm putting in the effort. I know the direction that I need to go, and I am moving in that direction.
And that's the mindset that you have to have. And money is not everything, not by a long shot. But the mindset that you have to have is that whatever it is you want, I mean, he wants to be a millionaire, great. I would like to be a millionaire. And I'm working towards the same goals in my own direction. The goal of what you want, you keep your eye on that prize. You enjoy the journey to getting there. But if you basically burn the boats, okay? And there's no way to go back anymore. There was a general, I don't remember the story word for word, but basically a general pulled up on the shore of some place that they were going to war with, and him and his men got off the boats, and they were outnumbered something like 3-1. And his men started to, you know, their morale went down. Well, he gave an order to burn the boats, and they burnt the boats in the water because now you have no choice. You have no choice but to go forward and to conquer and to live, all right? Or you're going to die, right? That's what he gave the option to his guys. And they won. They won that war because they had burnt the boats. That's essentially what you're doing. You're looking at this goal and you're saying, I'm going to get this. I don't care what challenges come my way. This challenge, okay, here's how I bypass it. Boom, that's gone. Okay, new challenge. Boom, bypass. You have to get into that mentality that you don't care what comes your way. You don't care what is against you. You figure it out, you overcome. What do the Marines say? Adapt and overcome? It's the Marines, right?
I've never been a Marine, so
I think it's the Marines. You have to have that mentality. That is a winner mentality, and that's what you've developed.
well, it's important to have that mentality for anything in life. You know, especially if you're going to do something for yourself. Doesn't matter if it's I want to work on my body, I want to, you know, meet the right person, I want to build a business. That's my particular thing. I want to build a business, be successful, provide for my family, and make sure that my daughter's future is secure, and also have nice things in the future for myself as well. I'm going to be young enough to enjoy it as well.
Mm-hmm. And you make a lot of sacrifices for it. I mean, this is no disrespect, but I look at your shoes. These are completely worn out. You know, it's very easy to go and buy new shoes. You look at the chair that you're in, it's ripped, you know? The truck you're driving, it's all beat up.
Mm-hmm.
But see, later on in life, you're the type of person that people are going to look at when you are successful, and they're going to go, oh, this guy must have known somebody, or this guy was born into money, or he had it easy, or all this bullshit, which just becomes a limiting belief for somebody else who thinks that you have to be born into it, or you have to have, you know, these connections, or you have to do this, you have to have gotten lucky in some way. You're not lucky. In fact, I don't think you're very lucky at all. I mean, some of the stuff that's taken place, your ex-girlfriend crushed your leg between the cars. I mean, like, you've had a lot of stuff take place. That was an accident. It wasn't a bad problem. But I wouldn't call him specifically lucky. I would say a lot of your stuff is self-made.
Well, I gotta disagree on some points, but yes, very self-made. I am very lucky that I was born who I am. Okay, people, if they in the future, if they say, "Oh, he was born into something," yes, I was born into being me. He knew the right people. Yes, I did know the right people. I knew me, myself, and I. I knew what I wanted, and I knew what questions to ask, and then I found out how to achieve it.
And how to find the other people that were going to build you up. You know,
Exactly.
if I appear tall, I stand on the shoulders of giants. I forgot who said
So
that.
they'll be
but-
right in their assumptions only on that level. But yes, I am going to be a self-made millionaire because I'm going to build myself. And it doesn't matter what people think. I told him back before when we had employees and people would talk, because in any business everyone talks. I don't care what anyone else thought, as long as the people that do matter to me thought well of me. And they do. And in business, you have to have the mentality that not everyone's going to like you. Not everyone's going to believe in you. Not everyone's going to see the vision that you have. And that's okay. Because everybody in this world, they are their own individuals. They have their own mindsets. They have their own beliefs, their own views on things, and that's absolutely fine. But I view myself in a certain light, and I view my dream in a certain light, that I am successful. In my mind, I am already successful because I have the mentality to be successful. My business is going to be successful because I see it as a success. And that is my overall goal. Is just, I have a small goal right now, 5 stores in 5 years. I have 2.
Now, I want to ask you a question.
Yes.
Let's say that you only have 3 stores in 5 years. Did you fail?
No.
No, because you set your goal post so high that if you set your goal for 2 stores in 3 years, well then or 5 years, you would say you've already hit that.
Yeah.
Now you set it for 5 and you end up with 3. It's the same thing. If you're not a millionaire by the time you're 50, did you fail?
No.
No, you're just heading towards the goal. It does not matter.
That's right.
You know, and it's you said something that made me think. Success is not something that you fall into. Success is something that gets attracted to a specific kind of person with a successful mindset. You know, people wait for this lottery effect. They wait to go through life and just have this one moment of shining amazement where they get the winning ticket, or somebody sees some talent in them and pulls them up. And can that happen? Yes. But if you're banking on that, you and the rest of the world are banking on that to end up for becoming successful. It's not going to happen.
Now, I'll tell this short story. This is back from my corporate job. When I first got the job, it was they hired a class of professionals for the particular position that I accepted. And in the class where they go over the orientation of who we are as a company, et cetera, they asked each individual where they saw themselves in 5 years, what direction did they want to go, and what was their end goal in the company. Some people said, Like I think tech may be interesting. Maybe sales down the line.
People are afraid to say and to put out there, I'm going to be great.
Yeah.
People are afraid to say that.
Some people are like, oh, I'm going to go towards the business section. When they got to me, and everyone in the class completely disliked me instantly from my answer.
Yeah, because they're used to being safe.
Yes. My answer was in a form of a question in the beginning. It was like, who is the highest person in this company? And they mentioned the CEO's name, and they told me it was the CEO. I was like, okay, I want his job. It's like, okay, that's a great goal. It's just like, it may take some work. I was like, doesn't matter how hard it is or how much work it's going to take. I want his job.
Yep.
Now, did I get his job? No, I didn't get his job because I eventually chose a different path.
Does that mean you failed?
No, not at all. Because you know something? In the first 3 months of that new position, I led in my department. In fact, I had the highest numbers. The way the numbers worked in this company was on like a golf scale. The lower your numbers, the better you're doing. My numbers were 6.25. The closest person to me in that company was at 23 point something. I won awards. I was promoted. I achieved all this very quickly. And it was because I set a goal for myself that seemed beyond ridiculous to some of the people that I was in this class with, that they didn't get it. I saw myself going farther than, even if it was beyond my attainability, I was going to get somewhere close. And honestly, if I would have stuck to it, I'm fairly confident in myself that I would have been the CEO of that company. Just like I'm the CEO of Elite IT now.
Now, something I want to throw out there is that the problems that most people have in their life is that your goal setting is screwed up. If you come and tell me that you hit every single goal that you set, I'm going to tell you that you're not excelling anywhere. Because if you're hitting every single goal that you set, you're not shooting high enough, okay? I can take a handgun and shoot a target 2 feet away and hit every single time. I want to be hitting that target 100 yards away with a handgun with no sight. Okay, that's an accomplishment, right? You want to be missing your goal because you've set it so high and you're striving for so much greatness that you can't even possibly get there sometimes, but in your head you convince yourself that you can, and the rest of the people who, in your class, I want to be a tech. Okay, well, a tech is an entry-level position. Don't go to a job and say, oh, I just want to be a sales associate. I want to be a cashier. I want to be what? No, I'm looking into the managerial opportunities here. I'm interested in being, chief of marketing. I mean, you don't go in and set your sights for the lowest that you want, because then you're going to get it. And when you get that, these people aren't happy. No. That's when I start talking with people and they tell me, well, I have a good job, I have this, I have that, and then 10 minutes in the conversation they're telling me they hate their lives. Mm-hmm. I mean, the woman I was talking to last night, she was telling me all these reasons she can't move forward, but she was saying, she's got a good life, she's got this, she's got that. 10 minutes later, she's telling me, I hate my life, I hate my job, I can't go anywhere, nowhere's hiring. I said, how many places have you applied for? She's like, no place is hiring. I said, how many have you applied for? 1. She applied for 1 this year. We're at the end of 2015. She applied for 1 place, but no places are hiring. No, they're not hiring her. People are getting hired every single day because they have a different mindset. They're going to shoot for the stars. Is there anything else you want to bring up before close out?
No, I think we covered a lot.
All right, well, listen, guys, what I want to get across in this video is that limiting beliefs are...
Well, I'm going to let him finish this point by himself. Everyone, it was nice meeting you.
You don't got to leave. Shake my hand before you leave. Are you leaving for the day? The point I want to get across in this video, guys, is that a limiting belief is absolutely BS to carry with you through life. All it's going to do is hold you back. All it's going to do is hold you back, and it's going to stop you from becoming what you really want to be. And look, you have kids, you have difficulties in your life, you have things that are stopping you from moving forward. Everybody has these, all right? I had surgery on my knee, and there are days when I have trouble walking. That's an extremely easily limiting factor in my life for riding motorcycles and doing the stunts that I do and stuff like that. But instead, I did research on the types of exercises I can do to strengthen the muscles around the knee, the stuff that I can do to better myself as much as possible. So that instead of becoming a limiting belief, just becomes one area of where I have more knowledge so that I can share with somebody who has problems with their knee to help them to grow as well. Guys, burn the boats in your life. Forget about the stuff that you think is holding you back. Focus on the attributes of which you are strong at and move forward with them. Stop limiting beliefs, burn the boats, move forward, and conquer. I'll catch you next time.